Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to prepare for the upcoming treasure map, the worldwide anniversary treasure map versus Fujitora. My teams won't be using any of the new units because I did not pull for them. I don't have them anyway, even if I did want to use them. And we are not even going to use them as friend captains actually, except Sabo, who we are going to specifically talk about. But for Ace and Luffy you don't need them at all. If you want to use them wherever you see fit for a higher point gain, feel free to do so. And the same goes for legends like Rayleigh Gaban, Newgate, or even Super Sugofest, Super Evolved Q Luffy. With that out of the way though, let's get into the preparation. The first mini-boss is Barto and Cavendish. They are actually Q, and the team I will be using is this Halloween Koala one. And the reason I have Halloween Treasure Map Legend Koala as captain is to of course resist the special rivers on the crewmates, so no one will be applied with special rivers. As a friend captain, you can use a Halloween Koala or anyone else that provides a higher multiplier and essentially fits the team. You don't need double Halloween Koala. And of course, if you do not have her, you can either use her as friend captain or just use a crewmate that can help you regain your specials. As you can see, I do have Carrot Wanda here, but they are only here to increase our damage, not for the special rewind. If you do want to use them for that purpose though, instead of Halloween Koala, you can do so. Essentially, we want to enter on Carrot, then in the last stage, swap to Wanda and activate her to get an ore boost for all of our units and also an attack boost for Wanda specifically. The other units are all important. First of all, we have Colosseum Morley and Treasure Map Kanjuro here because in combination these two units can completely remove resilience, 5 turns from Morley, 4 turns from Kanjuro. Morley can also increase our damage because Koala is a free spirit captain. And then finally we have Sugar. 6+ Sugar, first of all, can make all of our slots, which will be empty, into matching, and then by turning everyone into a toy bear and clicking here, all of the toy bears will automatically penetrate the barrier, allowing us to easily defeat the boss without even hitting perfects or trying to penetrate the barrier by achieving a combo of 25 hits. The team is set up in that way so the automated attack will give us maximum damage, hence why Carrot and Wanda will be in the bottom left spot. And also have in mind that we cannot activate the super type special of Koala, but it really does not matter. Of course, because you need the majority of your other specials, activate Sugar's special last. If you do not have Carrot Wanda, you can replace them with any damage booster you want, and this team's multiplier is 3.87 with double Halloween Koala. The next mini-boss is Strength Bellamy, and the team I will be using has double 6+ Roger as captain, and the reason we have him there is because in combination with Treasure Map Wiper, we can get matching type slots. First, by activating Wiper, we will completely remove the non-beneficial type slots debuff, then the interruption will activate, giving us unfavorable slots once again, and then we can activate Roger's super type if we have access to it, which we should have, hence why I'm using Odin here. The new anniversary Ace as friend captain also unlocks Roger's super type, and the super type special is not interruptible and can give us a full board of guaranteed matching slots. Roger, of course, as a captain is awesome. He can give us lots of damage and also apply damage to the enemy, which most likely earlier on will completely take care of him. In order for us to deal with the special rivers and activate our specials in the first place, I am using New Year Super Sugofest rare recruit Zoro, so he can give everyone their special back but also provide us with an ore boost. And finally, so we can survive the after defeat damage. It is only 5000, but Bellamy will do a 99% HP cut. I am using a healing special, Sanji's, so we can just have enough healing to survive. You can use whoever you want here to heal a little bit and have over 5000 HP, you don't need Sanji specifically. Since we already have an ore boost and an attack boost from Zoro and Roger, his damage boosting won't provide anything to us anyway. Also, Odin's special is not necessary at all, we only want him to be present so Roger can get the super typing if we don't find a friend captain Ace to use in this team. If you don't want to use Roger as your captain, you can use him only as friend captain and then just use whoever you want essentially as captain that fits the team. You can use Sanji for example, you can even use Sai free-to-play super type Luffy. And if you want to replace Zoro, in case you do not have him, you just want someone to give you your specials back. We are not going to deal with a barrier, just hit the perfects required to break it and then beat the boss. Something important for early on, since Roger highly likely will beat Bellamy, have in mind you want to activate your healer before you activate your Roger specials. For this team with double Roger, the multiplier is at 3.71 times. The next mini-boss will be Dex Jesus Burgess. We are going to use a double Sank Screw team here, and have in mind if you are using this Akainu support, this is 6 plus V1 Akainu support on someone essentially that is strength and can do damage, everyone will get a strength slot like that. If you are not using this method, enter with the Sank Screw being on the Q side, so you can swap both of your captains in stage 2, and your middle row units that way can get a strength slot, and then you can break the enemy's barrier. The Sank Screw swap of course provides adjacent matching slots, so your middle row units also need to be strength for you to acquire strength slots, so have that in mind in case you need to make any replacements. Of course, with Akainu or other matching slot supports, you can just enter on the side, never swap, and just activate Sanks immediately in the final stage. For the debuffs now, to remove paralysis we are going to use Colosseum Orochi, he can also provide us with an attack boost. Then our captains, the Sank Screw in this case, will be inflicted with Slot Bind for 10 turns, even if they are fully limit broken. We cannot remove that, but we don't really care, so just let it be. The barrier we talked about, how we are going to deal with it. Our captain, the top right unit, will be inflicted with 13 turns of despair. So we need maximum sockets, that will bring the despair down to 10 turns. Then we are going to use Treasure Map Stussy, who will remove 4 extra turns of despair, bringing it down to 6, and she will also provide us with a color affinity boost. Then Colosseum V2 Inuarashi with white base support will remove the remaining despair, 5 turns from Inuarashi, the remaining 1 from the despair support. White base, you can use any despair removing support you want. And by the way, Inuarashi can also provide us with an attack boost in case you decide to replace Orochi with another paralysis remover, but both of them give us a higher attack boost than the swap of the Sank Screw, so generally activate your attack boosting special before you swap the Sank Screw if you do use the swap method. The Sank Screw will of course give us a chain lock, allowing us to bypass both of the chain debuffs. And finally we have Treasure Map Ulti, who will inflict damage to the enemy, therefore activating support Akainu, who can provide all of our strength units with a matching slot. Then you can break the barrier and super easily defeat the enemy. For this specific team with double Sank Screw as captain, we can get a 4.51 times multiplier. The next mini-boss will be Int Trebol, a pretty straightforward mini-boss in my opinion, especially with this specific team. I am going to use double Bon Clay as captain. You can also use a friend captain Luffy or Ace here in case you find any for a higher multiplier. But generally you want maximum bind sockets, and to activate Sanji here to remove bind completely, you can replace Sanji of course with any bind remover, that helps. Then we have Rare Recruit Buggy and Treasure Map Shanks. These two units will remove burn completely. 5 turns from Buggy, the remaining one from Shanks, who with his double special activation can remove 2 turns of burn. So if you want to replace Buggy, if you find 4 turns of burn removal, you can completely replace him. If you can't, to be fair, even if you don't remove burn, it's not the end of the world. The burn is annoying here because the boss will revive, so essentially before the revive you can't really hit perfect because you will be damaged, and 1 perfect is 15,000 damage of burn. But again, with enough damage we don't really need to deal with burn. Shanks can also give you matching slots. Bonnie, Raid Bonnie, can remove both defense up and threshold. And finally Bon Clay can increase our damage. He can also give us matching slots. And something that Bon Clay is very helpful with is the after revive mechanics, because chain down will be inflicted after the revive. Bon Clay can give us a chain lock to counter it, which I also think is not that important but worthy to note. So essentially, Bon Clay replacements, anyone that fits as captain. Sai free to play super type Luffy probably fits here. and even if you don't get the chain lock, I don't think it will be that big of a deal. And for buggy, if you decide to not remove the burn, definitely a damage booster can help you. With double bone clay though, this team's multiplier is 4.18 times. We proceed to the main boss of this treasure map, Strength Doflamingo, and here we are going to use a friend captain Sabo, the new anniversary specific legend, as friend captain. It is important essentially because we need to remove 7 turns of damage reduction in the final stage, and it's not easy to do if you don't use Sabo, especially with the units I have, because I'm also missing Super Sugo Fest Nami from the New Year Super Sugo. For our normal captain, we are going to use the Super Evolution of Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, enter with the dual unit on the side on Nekomamushi to get special cooldown reduction. Here we do have a unit actually that doesn't get special cooldown reduction. It is Arena X Drake, who is Strength, but he is the only free-to-play unit available in the whole boosted list that actually removes damage nullification from the final stage. The only other unit that removes it is the new Koala, and I think another strategy you can use without Drake is to use Carrot Wanda, so only their attack can actually ignore damage nullification and only they will damage the Flamingo. But I think with Arena Drake you have an all-around better solution, and you also have a fully accessible free-to-play unit from the Recollection Archive and a more comfortable run. Even though he doesn't get special cooldown reduction, he is a boosted unit, so he gets -5 just because of that. Then with Inuarashi and Nekomamushi he gets -2. With a ship like the Hoe that gives you special cooldown reduction at the start of the quest, he gets -1. With special cooldown reduction sockets he gets -2, and then with the preemptives, and even if you stall a bit in stage 1 with the turtles, he will 100% have his special ready to use in the final stage. Before we get into the specifics of the units, it is highly important to have them in this specific positioning. Izo and Drake on the left under Sabo, and then free-to-play Robin and the new free-to-play point event Yamato on the right column under your captain Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. To get to the specifics now, in stage number 2 you want to super swap your captain to completely remove paralysis, and then activate their special to increase your damage but to also remove attack down completely. Rare Recruit Jinbe support is important here on Inuneko because when you activate them in stage 2 you will get a chain boost. That is of course not important for the damage output, but it is important because that way in the next stage your friend captain Sabo will activate his special automatically because of his captain ability, and we need that to happen because manually we want to activate Sabo in stage 2 to deal with the chain debuff. If we don't get a chain boost from Jinbe support and we don't get a chain boost in general, that means that Sabo won't reactivate his special in the final stage automatically, and we cannot activate it again of course because we used it in stage 2 to deal with the chain debuff. Now we cannot deal with damage reduction, so Jinbe is very important. For stage 2 we have activated our 2 captains, then the only thing remaining to do is to remove Despair. It is 8 turns of Despair, so -3 from your sockets, -3 from Psy free-to-play Robin, and then you need 2 extra turns of removal. These turns will come from the Straw Hat Strength free-to-play support attached to Robin here, which is a very good free-to-play combination to completely remove Despair, but also get access to Sabo's superclass ability because of Robin being present in the team. But if you do not have the Straw Hats, any other support or combination of supports that can remove at least 2 turns of Despair will of course do the job. Moving on to the final stage now, if you hit enough perfects with Inuarashi and Nekomamushi you will get an Orb boost, then the left column units will be applied with Bind, and the right column units will be applied with Special Rivers. Inuarashi, Nekomamushi and Robin we don't care about because we already used their specials and we are not planning to use them again. Yamato resists it, that's why she needs to be in the right column, because when activated she will remove the bind from everyone on the left column if you also have maximum bind sockets. Activate her first and then you free your other units. Sabo will also be activated automatically because we had the chain boosting from support Jinbe in the previous turn. He will remove damage reduction completely, he will also provide us chain boundaries. Activating Izo will completely remove Threshold. And finally, for your 2 actions, you need to be careful, you want to activate the superclass of Sabo first, to get an uninterruptible color affinity boost, and then you want to activate Drake. You do that because if you activate Drake before the superclass of Sabo, he will give you a color affinity boost, which comes from a special, meaning it is interruptible. So for the interruption to not happen, first activate the superclass of Sabo, then the special of Drake. Drake will deal with the damage nullification shield completely, and he will give you a full board of matching slots because we have 2 Q and 1 Dex unit in the team. And a very good thing about this team, every single unit I am using here is free to play, except maybe Jinbe, who's a rare recruit and not free to play, but he is extremely old, so if you have pulled in a good amount of Sugofests, you probably have him. You need a Sabo friend captain, of course, and the multiplier of this team is 8.08 times. For the Intrusion Battle versus Strength Fujitora, we are going to use a similar strategy with at least our captains, because we have Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. This time we need to enter as the strength side of the dual unit though, to get special cooldown reduction. And our friend captain again needs to be the new anniversary legend Sabo. Without him, things are very hectic. And again, we have the MVP, chain boosting support, rare recruit side Jinbe on Inuarashi and Nekomamushi. In stage number 2, because we get only crewmate special bind, but we also get crewmate fear, that means that our crewmate sailor abilities cannot apply. So even if you do have a crewmate that can resist and then with the special remove special bind, that cannot help you because of the fear being present. So by having Sabo as a friend captain, we can activate him to remove special bind from everyone and also get chain boundaries. After that, we want to super swap Dogstorm to Cat Viper, activate him to get all of the damage boosting of course, and that way Jinbe will also activate, giving us a chain boost, which will mean that Sabo's special will activate automatically in the final stage to help us again. If we hit enough perfects, Inuarashi and Nekomamushi will also give us an ore boost in the final stage, which will also help our damage. Every other debuff on the stage is literally dealt with by activating Treasure Map Isos special. We will get matching slots, remove the barrier, and also remove the threshold. So by activating these 3 specials, we are more than capable of defeating stage 2. Now moving on to the final stage. Because of the chain boost from Jinbe support, Sabo activates his special automatically, which means that he completely removes the special bind from all of our crewmates and can also help us deal with the chain debuffs. He does not immediately do it though, because the attack done under a specific chain says 4 or less, and we are not going to have chain boundaries starting from 4. We need to increase our chain at the same time, because chain down will also be present, and Sabo does not provide us with a chain lock, he provides us with chain boundaries. To help with the chain debuffs, we have free to play Adio. Adio gives a very decent chain boost of 1 times, which can help us increase our chain from Sabo's starting chain boundary to of course go over 4 and then start doing lots of damage. Then Fujitora will have a barrier that needs 3 dex slots in order to break, which can be pretty hard to accomplish. I don't think it is impossible, but it is easier and more comfortable to just use Treasure Map Shanks, who with his special can completely remove the barrier. He can also provide us with matching slots. And then for the 2 debuffs remaining, the defense up and the top row paralysis that I did not mention, we activate Treasure Map Rare Recruit Chopper here, who can deal with both of these. But if you don't have him because he is not a free to play unit, unlike everyone else, there is a possible replacement, so don't worry. Replace Chopper with Raid Bonnie, who can deal with defense up and remove it completely. And then replace our captain Inu Neko with Super Sugofest Nami from the New Year's Super Sugofest. I do not unfortunately have her, but she is very good here because you don't need to replace Jinbe support if you use Nami instead of Inuarashi Nekomamushi. Nami activating her special in stage 2 will give you a chain boost, which means Sabo can automatically reactivate his special in the final stage. And because of her captain ability, paralysis in the final stage will also be completely removed, which is great. With my specific team though, the multiplier is 7.48 times. And these were all of my teams without using new units and my preparation for the upcoming TM versus Fujitora. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me in the comments down below, and if I made any mistakes, feel free to also correct me so I can optimize my teams for the quick playthrough guide that will happen the day the treasure map comes out. Subscribe to not miss out on that, and as always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.